everyone, and welcome back. We are finally starting nasturtiums today. I feel like I'm a little bit behind with seed starting. As you can see behind me, I was really early with some of my things such as tomatoes and peppers, so they're doing great. But for my flowers, I'm super behind, and nasturtiums is one of them. Now, if you're behind like me, no worries. You can always direct sow them. I actually did that last year and had phenomenal results. They just take a little bit longer to go and push through the dirt and get started. I just want to jumpstart, especially while spring is now on its way and the warmer temperatures are coming. I want to be able to plant them out when I plant out my tomatoes and peppers. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Kristy. I am located in Massachusetts, Zone 6A, with an average last frost date of May 15th. So I'm about 2 or 3 weeks away from my last frost date. Technically it's May 10th, but I'm just going to start May 10th harding off and hopefully getting everything out May 15th, or at least my tomatoes and peppers by Memorial Day weekend. And nasturtiums is something that you must have in your vegetable garden. I'm kind of kicking myself right now for not taking more photos or videos because the amount of aphids that nasturtiums can help attract and keep them away from your garden is just phenomenal. It's just mind-blowing how many just go right to them. So this year I plan on all of my vegetable garden beds to have at least one in each corner so they can just cascade off the side. And I'll also use them for decorative purposes as well. For my hanging baskets and some of my planters out front, they got so long. And last year I planted a dwarf variety and they were still anywhere from 3 to 4 feet long, taking over a whole path in my garden. So let's talk about nasturtiums, why you should grow them, and what kinds I'm going to get started today. Now, I'm going to be starting several different varieties of nasturtiums, but they all have the same thing in common, and that is how you start them. So with nasturtiums, if you are using an indoor seed starting method like I am going to be using today, the heat mat is going to be a little bit cooler than most of your flowers or vegetables you might be starting. You want them anywhere between 55 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit for your nasturtium. So thankfully I have a smaller heat mat, which I will be putting those on because I'm also hoping to start zinnias today as well. And those need anywhere around like 70, 75 degrees. So they definitely want them on separate heat mats. So again, it's also recommended to direct sow them. So you can actually probably go ahead and get them out there right now. Nasturtiums can take anywhere from 7 to 14 days to germinate, and when you are putting them either outside or in your cell trays, you will bury them at least half of an inch to an inch deep, and they don't need light to germinate, which is also great. So if you have a smaller heat mat, you can just put it off to the side and you don't have to have it under any grow lights for them to germinate, but then you will want to pop them under some once you see them sprouting above. As I mentioned earlier, they are an amazing trap crop. Last year, I only had them in about 4 of my garden beds, and I'm definitely going to up it this year. I had them cascading off of the side. So all I did was go to my garden bed, pop 3 of them in the corner, keep it nice and moist, and then they would just cascade off the side, just getting all of those aphids. This year, I plan on trying to put them in at least every single corner. Definitely pair them up with your marigolds or your calendula. I like to just surround the outside of my boxes with any kind of trap crop to help with my tomatoes, peppers, squash, and zucchini from any of those pests that you want to deter. They are also a pollinator magnet. Great to have in all of your beds where you need some help with pollination for your squash or your zucchini or your cucumbers. That way you can attract extra bees and butterflies to your garden. They are also easy to grow. I, as a first-time gardener last year, was amazed that just by popping them in the ground, they were able to come up. They thrive in poor soil and actually need little maintenance. Just water them and they would just keep on growing nonstop. And they're also super versatile. I will not only be adding them to my garden beds, but I do plan on trying a hanging basket or 2, hopefully. But definitely I want to put them in containers. I plan on putting them around the edges so they can cascade over. I needed to add a pop of color to my containers at the front of my garden. I'm trying not to go to the garden stores and buying them. I really want to focus on ones that I can plant from home. Some of the varieties I have are from botanical interests. I also have some that you could just go to a big box store or your grocery store and grab. And then I also have some from a special museum, which I will be starting for my coworker. So last year I did this brand right here by Fairy Morris. It is a dwarf variety. However, these still got 3 to 4 feet long, even though they were dwarfed. I'm going to be starting them again. They were from last year. I had a packet left over, but I just loved the colors. So I will be starting these. These will go in my garden beds. And then I also got a red variety as well. So I have 2 here that you could just go to the grocery store or a big box store and pop into your garden right now if you choose to do so. Definitely a must. And then the ones that I ordered from Botanical Interest, I got the single blend and the purple empire. So I have these as well. These ones right here, I plan on using for my containers, and I also will be giving some of these to my coworker as well. She really wants them for her window boxes. And then I am super excited to try these out. So I'm gonna post some pictures while I talk about this, but I have some seeds from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. This is located in Boston. I have their nasturtium seeds. If you buy a packet, I believe it was $10 per packet, and you get 30 seeds. And these were beautiful. They actually have a whole event around these seeds that they start super early on, and they are gorgeous. So I'm going to be starting these. I probably will do all of them just so my coworker can put these in her garden boxes. Like, they were 9-10 feet long. They were just hanging off of the balconies, and they are beautiful. So these are going to be super special, and I'm excited to start these. Now, as always, we're going to start with some pre-moistened seed starting mix. I have this already nice and moist. I did add some perlite, so I ran out of my espoma. I went to Walmart and got the Jif brand. I never used it before, but I feel like it'll be okay. This is what the nasturtiums will be starting in this time. I'm starting all of these in these 6-cell containers. I will hopefully just do one of each for now, and then later tonight I'll go back and pot up the rest. But this way I can have easy access to letting them, if they do get too tall, I don't want them just flopping all over and kind of like suffocating the ones in the center. I had that with some of my feverfew where they're getting so big that some of them were just getting overshadowed. So we're going to start them in some 6-cell trays, and I do like the clear ones because you can see how the roots are forming. That way, if they do get root bound, you can start telling. And I don't want to pot these up, so again, I'm about 2 to 3 weeks out, so I should be all set. I like to go and put a little bit in, and then I will firmly press it to the bottom. And I don't want any air pockets. This is super lightweight and fluffy, so I will give it a good bottom water after, even though I did pre-moisten this. And it should look like this. So I'm going to take this dauber right here, and I'm going to make about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch hole. And then I will drop my seeds in, and I will cover them up with some vermiculite because this room, since it's so warm out, has been getting super humid. So I definitely need that to help with the moisture control. We are going to start with our trailing nasturtiums. This is the single blend by Botanical Interest, and these will be used for containers. And the best part about these is they are so big. They're really fun to have if you have kids, help them pop them into the corners of the garden bed. I probably will actually start off and put some in there now this weekend. It's raining today, so it's gonna be nice moist soil in my garden beds, and my daughter can pop some in. So again, I'm just gonna put 1 per hole, because I don't want them to get overcrowded, and it also says you don't want to disturb their roots later, so I don't want to go overboard. So there's 6 in there, and you can kind of see them popping out right there. And then I will just backfill and then press down. And then just make sure they have good contact. Then I will sprinkle a little bit of vermiculite. And then I will water this down with just my spray bottle. Now that I'm done spraying my vermiculite in, I'm going to take a plant tag and just pop it in. And I'm going to fill a few trays worth of these. So this is 6. I probably do 6 for her, 6 for me. And then I will just try and do all of them. And then whatever is remaining, I will just pop into my garden and direct sow them. So let's just do one more together before I change the camera angle. So again, taking my tray, and then I will just add some of my seed starting mix. A nice, good, firm press. And then I'll just do these same ones again. I will take my little dauber and make a hole. There's also even numbers on it. So if you really want to make sure that you have, if you're super specific, you can even tell on here. So we will just do another one. And I will get 6 of them. And then I will push them in and backfill. You want to make sure they have good contact with the soil. And you can always go back and add more if you need to. Then we'll do our pinch of vermiculite. This is a step you can skip if you want. I'm just doing it because my bedroom is basically a large greenhouse because of the windows, and we're just getting so much sun. And then I'm gonna get my plant tag in and we're good to go. I'm gonna change the camera angle so you can see everything up close. Right now we're going to do the Nasturtiums, the Purple Emperor right now by Botanical Interest. So I have my clear 6 cell count, and then I am just going to fill this in with some soil. And then once there's a little bit in, I will, as I said, give it a good firm press. And then I will just continue to keep adding. And then I will just smooth it out and then just keep on going. This comes with a lot of my seed starting kits. I find it super useful, especially if you have to tease anything out. And I am just going to press it in and make about 1/2 inch to 1 inch deep. And again, what I do love about these nasturtium seeds is they are so large. It's great for little hands if you want some help planting. So we have our nasturtium seeds, and then I'm just going to plop it in each hole. So it will look like this. Hopefully you can see them in there. And then I will backfill and cover them up and just make sure that they have good contact with the soil. And you can always add more if you need to. Then I have my vermiculite. And again, they do not need light to germinate, so that's fantastic. And then I will just spray this in. It kind of helps just everything settle. And you could always bottom water after, but definitely make sure you keep them moist when they're on the heat mat. I have mine under a heat dome. So we have this, and then I will pop the tag in, and we'll All right, so I'm going to take you back up here because we are going to do our seeds from Boston. Again, this is from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Super excited to try these out. We're going to do the same exact process. Let's see. Oh, and it even has, let's see, are these instructions? It says it's recommended to direct sow them outdoors, but you can inside if you choose. Have the soil work so that it's fine and light. The flowers will appear in 8 to 12 weeks after being sown from flower to seed. So that is good to know. And then it says planting directions. It says temperature 68 degrees. And it takes about 7 to 10 days. No light needed. 1/2 inch for the depth, and put 1 to 2 seeds per plant. Which is super funny because everything else says 55 to 65. These say 68. So maybe I'll keep it around that 65 degree mark. So let's get to it. I plan on doing 3 trays of them out of the 30 for now. And then that way I can have some backups just in case if any didn't germinate. We can always just do some more. I would hate to do all 30 and then have something go wrong because you just never know, and then just not have it. So I'm gonna get these all pressed in and then we'll plant together. Now, I did forget to mention earlier that nasturtiums are also edible. So you can grow them and eat them. Personally, I have not tried, but I did read that they have like a peppery taste to them. And having kids in the garden and having some edible flowers is fun because I have an almost 2-year-old and everything goes in his mouth. So I have to be super selective right now with which types of flowers I am growing in my garden. I would love to have delphinium or larkspur, but because they are poisonous, I cannot have those around with the kids. And even things like lilies or tulips, I don't really get much because of my cats. So having some kind of flower that you can grow, and if your kids happen to accidentally nibble on and not have to worry about it, is actually truly nice. My daughter loves to pick everything and even just play with it. So again, definitely try it, give it a taste test. Maybe I will this year. I'm a girl that's super picky and not really good about trying things. So we have our nasturtium seeds. It does say you can put 1 to 2 per spot, but I will just keep with 1 right now. And I will start 18 of them. That way I just did a little over half, and I can always go back and get more if I need to. But it's just so nice and simple. And I love that you don't need a toothpick. Again, it is friendly for kids. This one I put 2 in. The seeds are a little bit smaller. I always tend to try and go for the bigger seed. Does that mean anything? I do not know. It's just, I don't know, measure for good luck, I guess. We will backfill them now. And I told her that when she, my coworker that is, plants these into her window boxes, I need picture updates so I can show you what they look like. And then maybe next year I will have her grab a pack because she likes to go every year to the event and see them. You can also, I'm sure, check them out on Instagram too. They will have some pictures. But I might want to have her grab me a pack so I can maybe just do them for my own hanging baskets. But I'm still trying to focus on perennials this year. All right, everything looks like it's tucked in good. We were able to do this relatively quick, and I might just go in and later tonight, if I have room, since I am doing zinnias, I don't want to take up too much extra. I have 2 extra small heat mats, and depending on how many zinnias I start, I just want to save one for later. And then if I find that I do have space, I probably will start some more lettuce this weekend. We go back to work in 2 days. So catching up on this rainy day with seed starting is perfect. I'm gonna get my plant tags in and we're gonna be all set for the day. And that concludes today's video on starting nasturtium seeds. So we started 9 6-cell packs of them. I probably will add a few more either tonight or tomorrow, depending on how many zinnias I start later on today. But I am thrilled with getting these in. When you're hitting that 2 to 3 week mark, it's just like you can just feel it. Unfortunately, it's still in the 40s at night. I do have very warm temperatures in the greenhouse, but it will dip down at night right now because it's not heated. So I'm doing some testing with moving some tomato plants and a little bit more of my warm loving annuals out there. But my perennials for the most part are out. I gotta figure out how I'm going to harden off these tomatoes. I think I'm going to use some milk crates to help me move them in and out of the greenhouse once I add them in. But those won't be going out until around Memorial Day weekend. So I'm hoping that these will be ready by then so I can get a good start and a jump start before all of the pests start coming around. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming and joining me on my new gardening journey. We are in year 2, so I hope to keep this up for many more years. So if you found this helpful or you just want to stay tuned for updates, go ahead and click like and subscribe and hit that bell button because we have a lot more to come and I can't wait to show you how the backyard is going to be transformed. And until next time, happy gardening. Bye.